So I think I addressed this a little bit in my introduction, but just to reiterate, in regards to developing more infrastructure through economic development, restoring some of the service lines that have been lost from fires, whether they're the current fires or past fires that lines have not yet been restored from, obviously that would be something in the Hayfork area I would be looking to do as a TPUD board member, as well as going on that same line of economic development, using some of the empty industrial sites there in Hayfork to potentially explore cogeneration and biomass systems would not only bring more jobs into creating those plants, but we would have some other alternative power options than just the dam to look into. As well as, of course, supporting ag industry development with, as Tom was mentioning, and I'm glad he did, with power development specifically in Hayfork as well. Supporting our local ag industry is definitely something huge from my personal and professional opinion.
I'm not sure how we're lining up here, but I think that, Hayfork being a little bit more remote than Weaverville, maintaining reliable powers is always important in Hayfork. When the power goes out, how quickly can we get it restored? And some of the things that we're doing, including the additional transformer that we put in Hayfork, is going to help with that. Increasing and improving our line conditions is going to help Hayfork, so that as the increased demand in the Hayfork area expands, that our line capacity is there, so that all of our users can get the power that they need and that it's safe. Hayfork is a little bit more remote than Weaverville, and there's a lot of houses that are at the end of the line, and there's not a lot of houses on those lines, so it's not very cost effective to serve those homes, but we need to do everything we can to make sure that we can maintain those lines in the same condition that we maintain every other line. It comes down to kind of a cost benefit. If you have one house on a line versus 10 houses on a line, how do you justify maintaining that line? And I think we need to do everything we can to ensure that all of those homes that are way out there maintain the power that they already have.
Okay, thank you. I feel like a school teacher right now. Terrible. Kelly, what would you like to say?
So in Hayfork, we have, as I had mentioned, we did 91 line extensions over the last 3 years, and many of those new customers are part of our high load customers. Some of the money that they spun off of that, we put back into the Hayfork substation for stability. So that substation is much more stable and reliable than it has been in the past. So it's the community kind of investing in itself. But every substation has a limited amount of power that it can support and capacity. So one of the things, that we can do down the future is how much do we need and how much is it going to cost to actually upgrade that substation to provide all the power that's being asked for.
Great, perfect. Does anybody else want to answer that question?
Yeah, this is Tom Wells again. Just a quick add to that is that we've just recently made one additional minor change, but it can be significant over in Hayfork, in that when there is a line extension request, we're giving each of those requests the information as to what it would cost to put a line in underground, as well as overhead, with the additional clearance necessary to make that overhead installation be stable. So individuals are getting an opportunity to choose which they would prefer. Do they want to do underground? If they go overhead, to understand how many danger trees would have to be removed. So I think they have a new option, a new opportunity, and I think it's a good step forward for the PUD.
Okay, and I think Kyle, you had something to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo a few things of upgrades in infrastructure. I think that's going to benefit Hayfork, bringing in the diversity of possible solar and battery options to create a little bit of independence in outlying areas and increasing the customers. If people want power, we should do our best to bring it to them, because more customers online are future revenue that just goes, it's reciprocal. It goes back into the community. So to expand on that beyond Hayfork into Southern Trinity, because I think we're in this area as well. A lot of people in Southern Trinity are on PUD, on PG&E lines, and it would be really nice to unify Trinity under one company that has its roots right here in Trinity, so that we're accountable to Trinity County. We don't have to rely on a bigger corporation like PG&E.
Great, thank you, Kyle. Anyone else before I move on to another question? Oh, Andy, yeah, that's right. You didn't get to go yet.
I can
Sorry.
stab at it. Well, I think communications with the utility district customers is important. I know, I guess I just want to acknowledge the kind of a rift between the folks in Hayfork and Southern Trinity, and kind of the perception of the governing bodies that come out of Weaverville. I think it's important we have a well-balanced representation on the board. And I do know we have one person from Hayfork. But I think keeping people engaged and listening to other voices, and not just those that are loudest in the Weaverville area, is important. The other thing is, since Kyle brought up, hopefully there's questions about this as well, but expanding the district into areas like Post Mountain and Trinity Pines, I think there's an opportunity there, and probably some more high load. So obviously will require studies, high impact customers that don't mind paying $1,500 plus a $50,000 connection fee. So.